everyone. My name is Carlette, and I will entertain you for just about 30 minutes or so as we are waiting for our president to start to speak. Now, you know what? I am a stress ball as I'm sitting here because I don't know what the president's going to say and speak about. I really don't know. Maybe you can help me out. So just leave a comment there in the comment box and tell me exactly what do you want to hear from our president tonight. It's for me. It is quite a stressful situation. So let us see what we will see when we get to that point of knowing what our president is going to say. That would only be at 7:30 today, and it's quite an interesting way to go when we have that knowledge of that we don't know what our president is going to say. So what would you love to hear from our president? Let me hear from you. So just give a comment below there on the comment box, and I would be very happy to just read out your comments, give you a shout out. Oh, that would be extremely well as well. So come on, let me entertain you for just a while. I think that is one of those things that what would the president say when you have that option of knowing that, Mr. President, what will you have to offer us? Well, it's one of those things that we know as children of God, we want to. We have to see our our churches open. So, would you love to hear that our churches will be open and good to go? Or would it be one of those things that you just come and go as it pleases? So I would love to hear from you. So give me a shout out. So, yeah, I know. Some days will be better than others. Some will be better off, some won't be that better off. But nonetheless, something needs to happen. So let us wait in anticipation for our president to speak. You know what? What would you love to hear from our president today? I would love to hear that our churches will be open. So let me just take this phone call just for a moment. Give me some time. Well, sorry guys for that, a little bit of delay, but and silence. Yes, that was a silence of prayer for our president as well, because we don't know what we are going to receive today. So in this moment of that we are waiting for the president, he's speaking at 7:30 today, and I'm not too sure what he's gonna say. I'm very curious to know and to hear in anticipation. I'm definitely waiting in anticipation, my president, because I don't know. Maybe you know. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's one of those things. We are as Christians, as a believer. I would really want to see and hear that the president will speak about the faith or the religious churches, and you know what? That would be great if he keeps it open for us. But we don't know. I don't know. Mr. President, what will the verdict be? What do you want to tell us, say to us? Will we have it's one of those things, some open churches? But as we are thinking about the churches that is open, I would love to hear from you. So please just drop me a comment. If the sound is good and you can hear me, please. I think I've got a little bit of trouble with the sound. But just holler me there in the comment box as we are waiting for our president. Oh man, I can't wait. Yes, I can. I can really, really wait, because I'm a nervous wreck. Come now, people. I don't know about you, but I'm not too sure. I'm a little bit waiting here in anticipation of what our president is going to tell us and say to us. But Mr. President, hopefully you will have good news for us, and of what I would love to hear those good news stories as well. So what happened in the day of a life of you right here on Project CB? You are tuned into Project CB. We are waiting for the president. Breaking news right here in the studio, and we are waiting for our president to speak. Now, I'm excited and I'm not excited. I'm in between, because we definitely want to hear our president speak about the Easter festivals or the Passover that's coming, and that we are having. As we are speaking, we in the Pascha moment where we cross over, or not cross over. It's more like a from the bad to the good kind of thing. So that is what we are celebrating as Christians. But now we are waiting. I am patiently waiting. So please drop me a comment below. Let me hear from you as well, knowing that maybe our days will be better. Maybe we will have good days, important days. Speaking of important and good days, what was happening in South Africa today? And this is from Business Tech. I'm getting it from Business Tech. So what was happening right here at this moment in South Africa as we speak? Or, well, the day is gone, so we don't know anything. So I would really love to hear what is in your life. But let's get back to South Africa. 5 important things that's happening in South Africa. Yes, and we're still on the topic of coronavirus. I think we can sing songs about this coronavirus as well. So, the Business Tech says that the global COVID-19 infections have hit 128.2 million confirmed cases, with the death toll reaching 2.8 million. In South Africa, there have been 548 new cases, and taking the total reported to 1,545,979. I finally got that correct. So that's the deaths that have reached 52,710, and it increased by daily with 47. And this number doesn't sound that high at this moment. So I'm wondering what our president will have to say, because the deaths increase. It increased daily with 47, and last year this time it was very high indeed. But the recovery rates on this have climbed to 1.472.645, leaving the country with a balance of 20,624 active cases. Now, to me, that doesn't sound as high as we think or thought it should be. Now, it's quite interesting that they do say that this is quite important. The total number of vaccines administered up to today, it's 239,665. And I do know of a few health workers that already got their shot or have been vaccinated as well. So it's quite interesting that it's not a lot. I would have loved to see more vaccines administered. Mr. Sir Ramaphosa, what is really happening with these vaccines administration that's currently happening? I know that they are behind, but that's no reason for slacking behind, and there's no reason to say that they don't have the capacity to do that. So I'm just wondering, my source there is News 24 that says, yes, this third wave is definitely coming, and it is quite interesting as well. So what is really happening right here? So if you are tuned into Project CB, this is where we give you some facts, and the facts alone. I'm sourcing out this video for us, or the President Cyril Ramaphosa's address from the ENCA. That is where I'm going to source my video at the moment. But if you are listening and tuned in, just give me a shout out. Come now, please. I would love to hear from you. What would you love to hear from our president today? Like I said, my idea, or what I would love to hear, is about the religious meetings. What are we going to hear from our president tonight? So they did say that our president is speaking at 7:30. This means I'm going to keep you up and awake and about, and let you start thinking about stuff right here on a Project CB. Please, if you haven't, please go and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I would love to get your support, and that is how you show support, if you just give me a nice subscribe there from Project CB. And if you did, thank you so much. It's always nice knowing that, yes, Project CB's family is right here and good to go. So how are you keeping? Are you keeping well? What's up in your life? Oh man, just give me a shout out in the comments. I'm gonna just say, how are you keeping? Come now, what would you love to hear from our president, just give me a shout out there in our comment box below. I would love to see you, hear from you, get that chat going as well. And so I'm still waiting in anticipation for our president to speak. What would you like to hear from our president as we are waiting patiently for our president to speak? But as we are waiting, I am Carlette, and I'm going to entertain you just for a while. But I can't just entertain you if it's only me and me alone. I would love to hear from you, your comments, your ideas. What would you love to hear from our president? Hopefully he's got a not a red tie on, because apparently they do say that if he's wearing a red tie, this is trouble. So tonight we are looking at Mr. President's tie. Sir Ramaphosa, if you've got a red tie or any color and shade of red, we need to know that this is moeilikheid at its best. But that's just a theory, and we're trying to figure out whether this is a really good theory or is it just a hearsay thing. But coming back to our dear beloved country, South Africa, land exploration. So there's a clarity around the exact nature of land exploration with compensation, and it is expected to be coming following a week of debate in the Parliament about the proposed changes to the Constitution. The main point of this Constitution around the policy is in the wording. That's quite interesting. Where it needs to be made clearer who will determine when land is expropriated without compensation and the owners. So the ANC MP is urging it should be in the government's hands, and but the opponents want the courts involved, as the government has proven ineffective and corrupt. Now, speaking of corruption, that is also a word that's in the limelight for so long, is our corrupt country. The MPs and all the people that is just the what is happening to our country? It's one of those things. We know that there is one of those interesting things that's happening, and you know what? It's one of those things that I know we will definitely get to the point that this corona will be gone. But if you do agree, if you want Corona-19 or the COVID-19 to be gone, just give me a thumbs up in the comment box. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would be much appreciated. It is Project CB. That's where you're currently on. Give us a message there. Just give us a shout out. How are you keeping? How's everything going with you? And yeah, it's quite an interesting topic, this corruptive thoughts and ideas. So let me just get into some nice stuff here. Oh, wait, I have a WhatsApp here, and this is from Frank Your Dance. So ja, thanks Frank. He says, dis nou nice. Ek klik op die eerste live vir Cyril en dis jou live stream. Give me a shout out. Thank you so much, Frank. How nice is that? Oh, thanks so much for subscribing. I know. So, just give me a thumbs up, Frank. It's nice hearing from you too. I mean, there's quite a few. There was Kobus as well that just gave me a shout out as well. So come now. It's nice hearing from you. It's just saying hello. That's all you need to do as well. If you've just tuned into Project CB, please subscribe. I would love your support on that. Speaking of support, we don't support the corruption. Hey, Frank. Oh, it's Frank again. Yes, thanks for the WhatsApp. Thumbs up, Frank. Just put it there in the comment box too. Come on. I know you want to. And thank you. I think you've liked the comment or the stream as well. So thank you so much, Frank, for tuning in. Please send this link to everyone far and wide so that we can definitely have a family meeting, because it's all my friends, it's family, it's not just friends, it's everyone that I know and not know. There's quite a few people already knowing that we just do the family meetings together. I love that. So, let us not be corrupt like some of our parliament and some of our leaders. Let's do the honest thing. Give me a shout out. I will give you a shout out, and you will be happy and famous. No, just joking. Maybe probably happy as well, but I'm happy to see you. So let's quickly go back to the business tech. Speaking of corruption, Ace. Oh, Mr. Ace got his ace. The ANC NEC has resolved that members charged with wrongdoing must step aside within 30 days. So will Ace Magashule really do this? Will Mr. Ace? I think you should do the right thing. What do you think, sir? Well, we all think you need to do the right thing, so please go and do the right thing. I know you want to, and I know hopefully you will. So the party said, and that's now the ANC said, that this is in line with the party's previous resolutions to clamp down on corruption within its ranks. So Mr. Ace Magashule and his support base in the party spent the weekend fighting against this move. No wonder. The SG will need to step aside by the end of April. Will he do it? Will he do it? Won't he? We don't know. We will see whether Mr. Ace, you will do the right thing. Hopefully you will. I really want you to really do the right thing and the correct thing in life. You will. Please, Mr. Ace, I know that you have to do and step down. So another thing we're just checking time here. We've got 10 minutes to go until our president speaks. I'm Carlette. I'm keeping you a little bit busy tonight, and we just have our own conversations going while we are waiting for the president to speak. So what will he speak about? Will he say that religious meetings will be cancelled? Will we be as happy as can be? Us as believers, do you really want to enjoy Passover yet again all alone? Or do you want to celebrate it with fellow believers? Well, to be very, very clear and honest about it, I would love to spend this coming Passover or Easter with my fellow Christian believers. That would be extremely nice. So what will the president say to us today? What will we hear? What will we do? I personally think that, or I hope rather, that he does not suspend or cancel the Passover. That would be quite disappointing. Come now, I would not want to hear those comments, ideas. I don't even want to utter those ideas, thinking that Passover can be or might be cancelled. Mr. President, it's a no from us. Sir, we don't want it. We don't support it. Maybe, yes, we are. Sir, I know that you are caring, but come now. But I think this corona just needs to step aside. If you think that, just give me a shout out or just subscribe if you are here and you are waiting. It's 8 minutes to go, and then we'll have our president speaking to us yet again for, I don't know for how many times have our president spoken to us. And it's quite interesting knowing that I've waited. Let me be honest. I've waited in anticipation for our president to speak from Sunday. And then Monday came, and today is finally the day. And then guess what he did? He said, well, it's not going to be 7 o'clock like it should be or used to be. It's now 7:30, and hence he hasn't spoken yet. We're waiting, but let's entertain one another. Just give me a comment below, just saying hi, just check in. I would love to hear from you from far and wide. That's how we roll tonight, from the south, the west, the east, and everywhere in South Africa. A very good evening to you. It's gonna be a good evening. It just has to be a good evening. It needs to. I can't wait any longer for our president to speak. So, Mr. President, can you just get onto it? I know he's a busy man, sure. He had quite a hectic agenda, but he's on his way. I've had a joke and said he was busy washing quickly up, and therefore he was late, or he is late. He said, guys, I just need to get in the shower and out of here, get myself clean, because tonight we are going to have a family meeting. And this is wonderful to hear our president speaking to us again about the national coronavirus. It's quite an understatement already. To last year this time, I think, let me just think about, I think we were 3 days, if I'm not mistaken. Please come and help me out. Last year this time, we were like 3 days in lockdown, hard lockdown, level 5, masks on, sanitize, 1.5 meters away, sometimes 2.5. People were frantic and hysterical. They didn't know, they didn't want to go outside. And a year later, you know what's happening a year later? We tend to become very blasé about this coronavirus, saying, oh no, it's just something that's happening, and we're not careful anymore. We're sort of lazy. We started to become, it's a whatever situation. So, I remember last year this time I was glued to the TV, looking at the stats. It was high. It was unpredictable. We didn't even know what was coming. We didn't even know whether we were off or off, to be honest. So it was quite a hectic time. Yeah, if we think about what can you remember from hard lockdown, level 5? What can you remember about, you know what, I remember that when I was driving to work, there was no cars. There's like 1 or 2 essential workers, and then there was nothing. The roads were like very clear, and there was really not much going on last year this time. Now it's this year this time, and we are still waiting for our president. We've got like 4 minutes to go. Thank you so much for watching Project CB. Thank you for checking in for our family meeting. It's always nice hearing from you. Give us a shout out in the comments below. I would love to hear who checked in, who's not checked in. And it's always nice hearing from you guys as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed just yet, or if you do know of someone who wants to subscribe to a worthy cause, then this is Project CB. So please get yourself in that subscription box below. Just subscribe. I need these subs. The only reason for that is that, it's going to be good. Last year, this time, I had like 208 or something. Now we've got 266, and you can definitely be next. So make it 267 or 268 today. Please do subscribe to Project CB. That would be extremely helpful, and I'm gonna be grateful as well. Speaking of grateful, we've got 2 minutes to go, if my time's right. What can you remember from last year this time? Oh man, just come and share with us your thoughts and your remembrance. We've got like 2 minutes to go. Probably is going to be late as well. Yet again, hopefully not. But let's see what our president, what will it all be about this coming few minutes. I would love to hear from you. You know, it's one of those interesting moments that if I don't hear from you, then I'm gonna be sad. So I would rather hear from you. Just check in. Thank you for checking in if you have already. It's awesome and nice seeing you, and just checking in with you as well. So yes, I have gotten on the line the ENCA. We are going to watch it from there as we collab with our other news network, ENCA. And we're waiting in anticipation for our president to speak. I think he has a lot to say. And how will he start his speech today? My dear fellow citizens, Passover will be cancelled yet again, or maybe we'll say let's have a festive season. Hopefully that would be the case. So please, Mr. President, I would love to hear from you as well tonight, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be good. As we are waiting for the president, we've got about a minute or so to go, and it's 7:30, and let's hear what our president has to say. Well, he's never on time, but I can't blame him. He's a busy man. Hey, he's very busy, but nonetheless, Mr. President, which tie will you wear tonight, and what good news or bad news, but hopefully good news, will you bring tonight? Well, please do give us a comment below. Let us hear from you, and it's always nice hearing from you as well. So give me a shout out. Give me a hi there. Oh, just anything. So thank you so much for watching Project CB as we are waiting to go live to meet our fate tonight. As well, there's another thing. Will the bottle stores, those who love liquor, will that be closed? Oh yeah. I know there's some of you that's not even interested in our family meetings, but what will happen tonight as the saga of the family meeting is yet to come? What will our president have to tell us and have to say to us? Oh, I want to say I can't wait, but I'm so nervous as I'm sitting here waiting for this news that I can't even contain myself. And here we go. We are live. We are going to go to the president.
Fellow South Africans, good evening. We decided to delay the start of this address to the nation, by half an hour because a legend of South African broadcasting, Miss Noxolo Grootboom, was tonight presenting her last isiXhosa bulletin at 7 p.m. on SABC News this evening. And many people felt that they wanted to watch her last bulletin and asked that we delay so that they can watch her. I wish to pay tribute to Ms. Grootboom as an outstanding journalist who, throughout her 37 years of distinguished service, brought historic events in our country and across the world into the living rooms of our nation. We wish Ms. Grootboom well and thank her for her many years of service. Sifuna ukuthi uphumule kamnandi, uhlale wazi ukuthi abantu abaninzi apha eMzantsi Afrika bayakuthanda, nami futhi ndiyakuthanda. It is now just over a year since we declared a national state of disaster in response to COVID-19 and had to introduce measures to contain its spread. Since then, we had to put up with restrictions on nearly every aspect of our lives as South Africans. What has perhaps been most difficult of all is how the pandemic has affected the social interactions that make us feel as a people to be part of a community. We miss the many things we once took for granted, like being able to visit our loved ones, go to a party, or to attend religious services. 1 year later, we've made significant progress in bringing the pandemic under control. The tireless efforts of our healthcare workers and many other frontline workers have saved many thousands of lives. And the pioneering work of our scientific community has led to significant advances in our understanding of this virus. Through the changes that we have all made to our personal behavior, we have protected ourselves. We have also protected our families and our communities. In South Africa, as in most countries around the world, we are not yet ready to return to normal life because of this virus. For the second year in a row, we will again have to limit our interactions, particularly during the Easter period. This is so because we are still in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic. Over the last year, the country has recorded more than 1.5 million cases of coronavirus, and there have been more than 52,000 recorded deaths from COVID-19. We remember and mourn each of those lives that we have lost. As I reported when I last addressed you, South Africa has emerged from a second wave of infections. For the past 2 weeks, the number of new cases has remained relatively stable at around 1,200 new cases per day. The number of hospitalizations is declining, as is the number of deaths. Our national recovery rate stands at slightly higher than 95%. This is thanks to the collective efforts of all South Africans who have abided by the restrictions that have been in place since March last year to protect the lives of South Africans. It is also a testament to the high degree of vigilance we have continued to observe as a country with regards to monitoring, testing, contact tracing, and preventative measures. At the same time, our national vaccine program has commenced and will be gaining momentum. In the middle of February, we began phase 1 of our vaccination program, which involves the vaccination of health workers. This phase is on track to be completed within 3 months. More than 250,000 health workers have to date received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine as part of the Sisonke trial. We have secured 11 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which we know to be effective against the dominant variants in our country. We've secured a further 20 million doses and are finalizing this agreement with Johnson & Johnson. So you could say it's in the bag. We are also finalizing an agreement for 20 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine, which requires 2 doses. This supply of vaccines will provide us with enough doses to vaccinate 41 million South Africans or people. We will make further announcements once these negotiations have been concluded in relation to just finalizing and dotting every I and crossing every T of the agreements. We are also in various stages of negotiations with the manufacturers of other vaccines such as Sinovac, Sinopharm, and Sputnik V. Some of these manufacturers are in the final stages of the approval process for use of their vaccines in South Africa. In addition to vaccine doses we will receive directly through our agreements with manufacturers, we will also receive an allocation of vaccine doses through the African Union initiative that we established when we held the chairship of the African Union. Although there have been delays in securing vaccine supplies, we are still confident in achieving our vaccination targets. The demand for vaccines around the world has really become extremely competitive, but we are doing our very best to secure enough supply for the people of South Africa and the African continent. We have had to adapt to the changing nature of the virus and to emerging evidence about the effectiveness of different vaccines. We will ensure that we have sufficient doses of effective vaccines to reach population immunity in the shortest possible time. Phase 2 is scheduled to start in the middle of May. We believe that sufficient volumes from manufacturers will be arriving in the quantities as agreed in terms of our agreements with them. Under Phase 2, we hope to vaccinate more of our people over a 6-month period. In line with international best practice, we will be prioritizing those at the highest risk of hospitalization and death, such as people over 60 and people living with comorbidities. The second phase of COVID-19 vaccination program aims to ensure that we will protect our communities, prevent health services from being overwhelmed, and reduce the need for lockdowns that seriously disrupt education, the economy, and each one of our lives. Registration to be vaccinated is scheduled to start in April. People will be encouraged to register online, but those without online access will be able to register in person. To ensure that we have supporting infrastructure, over 2,000 vaccination sites have been identified across the country. These include community clinics, pharmacies, general practitioners' rooms, retail outlets, and in some instances, larger facilities like stadiums and conference centers where these vaccination points will be set up. An electronic vaccination data system has been established to manage the vaccination rollout and direct people towards vaccination sites closest to where they live. This system will allow us to register receive an appointment date and site, and receive a digital certificate or a hard copy confirming your vaccination status once vaccinated. Everyone who will be vaccinated will have to be registered on the system first, and you will be invited to register once you become eligible. We will work through provincial and district structures and community-based organizations to register those citizens who do not have access to technology. We are developing mechanisms to identify and register undocumented persons so that they too can be vaccinated. We remain committed to keeping the nation informed on every step in the vaccination rollout process. If there will be delays, people will be informed, and so we will be absolutely transparent so that there is never any doubt in anybody's mind about the process. As I've said in the past, this is the biggest and the most comprehensive process that we've ever had in the history of our country, where we'll be reaching more than 40 million people at one go. Yesterday, Deputy President David Mabuza, Minister of Health, Dr. Mkhize, and Acting Minister in the Presidency, Ms. Nchabeni, and I visited the Aspen manufacturing plant in the Eastern Cape, which will be involved in producing the Johnson & Johnson vaccines. We were well welcomed by Premier Mabuyane and his MECs. The plant we visited is a world-class vaccination manufacturing facility which rates amongst the best in the world. This is a great achievement for South Africa, demonstrating our capabilities in advanced manufacturing. I wish to commend Aspen for having had the foresight to invest in this facility and for the speed with which they have gotten ready to begin production. More than half of the capacity of the plant, which will produce millions of doses a year, have been committed to Africa. Earlier this week, the African Vaccination Acquisition Task Team signed a procurement agreement on behalf of the African Union, member states, for 220 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. It has an option for an additional 180 million for all the countries on our continent. This agreement is significant for our continent, not only because it gives effect to our determination that no country should be left behind, but also because these vaccines will be produced right here on our continent. Greater collaboration between government, business, labor, and civil society is key to the success of the vaccine rollout. The private sector continues to play a key supporting role in the national effort. We are particularly encouraged by the commitment of the private healthcare sector to work with government to make the vaccine rollout a success, drawing on the immediate capabilities that we have developed in the sector. We are also grateful to numerous companies working through the Solidarity Fund to lend financial resources to the vaccine acquisition rollout. We want to commend the Vodacom Group and Vodafone Foundation, which have pledged 87 million rand in the African countries in which they operate for cold chain storage and the logistics for the COVID-19 vaccines to enable them to be delivered securely. In addition, Vodacom will be developing a state-of-the-art vaccine management platform across the AU member states, following a successful rollout of the same platform here in South Africa. I do want to call on all our private sector partners to support this new phase in our fight against COVID-19. Fellow South Africans, in just a few days, the country will begin the annual Easter break. For many, this will be a welcome moment to pause and to rest, whether from work or from our studies and from the pressures of the last few months. Many of us have made plans for the upcoming long weekend. Some of us will be heading out of town. Others will be visiting friends and family. Many of us will be attending gatherings and celebrations in various places. For millions of people, this is also a time of religious observance. While the rate of transmission remains stable, we cannot let our guard down. This is a time when caution is needed more than ever. The reality is that greater movement of people, interprovincial travel, greater use of public transit and gatherings present a great risk of an increase in infections. Over the last few days, we have sought the advice of experts and consulted with representatives of provincial and local government on what measures should be put in place over the coming long weekend to prevent a new outbreak of infections. As part of the consultation process, we've also included our traditional leaders. We have considered several factors, including the presentations by religious community leaders on precautionary measures they have put in place for the anticipated gatherings. And in this regard, I'd like to congratulate them because they have put in place a number of very impressive precautionary measures. Given the relatively low transmission levels, we have decided to keep the country on coronavirus alert level 1. However, due to the specific circumstances of this period, we need to make a few adjustments. Some of the measures that will remain unchanged are the following. The curfew will be maintained from midnight to 4 a.m., so there is no change. Public recreational spaces such as beaches, parks, and dams will remain open. However, this will continue to be subject to the health protocols such as social distancing, mask wearing. Funerals remain restricted to a maximum of 100 and with a 2-hour limit on services. Interprovincial travel will still be permitted so people can travel between our provinces. However, I urge all South Africans to limit their travel as much as possible and to observe all necessary health protocols if they cannot avoid traveling. However, given the role of alcohol in fueling reckless behavior, we will put in place some restrictions over the Easter weekend. To this end, the sale of alcohol for off-site consumption will be prohibited this coming Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Just those 4 days. On-site sales of alcohol at restaurants, shebeens, and bars will be allowed, but this will be according to licensing conditions and also to the limitations of time up to 11 at night. The Easter weekend is a time of spiritual significance, and attending religious services is important to millions of our people. For Christians, congregational worship is an important part of celebrating Easter. The Jewish community is currently celebrating Passover, and the Muslim community will soon be starting the holy month of Ramadan. In recent weeks, we've held consultations with faith communities to find mutually beneficial solutions to the challenges of managing large crowds at religious services. Following this consultation, it has been determined and decided that religious gatherings over this period will be restricted to a total number of 250 people indoors and 500 outdoors. This is an increase of the numbers that we have currently. Where the venue is too small to accommodate these numbers with appropriate social distancing, then no more than 50% of the capacity of the venue may be used. Congregants should not gather outside their usual places of worship, and people must go home and not sleep over after services, which is what often happens in non-COVID times. I want to express once again my gratitude to the leadership of the faith community who have engaged positively with us as government. There is a common appreciation that we must do all we can to support our people to exercise their religious freedom and keep our country safe. With respect to other gatherings, these will also be restricted to a maximum number of 250 people indoors and 500 outdoors. As before, where the venue is too small to accommodate these numbers with appropriate social distancing, then no more than 50% of the capacity of the venue may be used. We continue to urge all South Africans to avoid gatherings if they are in a vulnerable group, such as the elderly and those with comorbidities. We also urge that gatherings should take place in outdoor venues, which are significantly safer than gatherings indoors. We will review these measures that I've just outlined on the size of gatherings within the next 15 days based on an assessment on the state of the pandemic and the extent of compliance with health protocols. We continue to follow the principle that restrictions should not be more severe than is necessary to contain the spread of the virus. And we continue to be guided by data on the epidemiological situation and by expert advice and wide consultation with social partners. So there are quite a number of safety measures and safeguards, if you like. We will closely monitor the situation and will respond swiftly to any signs of a resurge of the virus. So fellow South Africans, this pandemic is still very much with us. We must act with caution, not just this coming weekend, but in the days and the weeks and months ahead. We do not know when the virus will be behind us, but we all know what must be done. We know that wearing a mask in public at all times is very important and life-saving, and I'm pleased to say that wherever I go, I now see many of our people continuing to wear masks. This is commendable. And I also see that a number of our people continue to wash hands, and many places around the country have sanitizing spots where people can wash their hands. And we must continue to observe social distancing, and this is important to prevent the spread of the virus. And wherever we are, let us try and see if we are at a sufficient distance from the next person. And if possible, we must continue to avoid crowds, because these measures are still the most effective way of keeping the virus at bay. There was a wonderful report the other day at an international broadcasting TV station where they said South Africa has been able to bring the level of infections down largely because as a nation they have sought to observe all the health protocols that are being spread around the world. And I'd like to commend our people for continuing to observe these health protocols. They are important, and in a way they've become maybe second nature. We must see them as second nature. Any action that puts ourselves or others at risk must be avoided. The restrictions that are in place for our collective health and safety must be observed. Let us be a responsible nation that is forever aware of the presence of the virus. And let us remain at home wherever we can in small groups. Let us avoid being in large crowds and places with poor ventilation. And let us not go to funerals unless we are immediate family and not visit the homes of the bereaved. We all have a role in this great national effort to end COVID-19. And let us play our part. At this time, when the Easter message of hope, rebirth, and renewal finds expression in the lives of so many of us, let us please take care. May God continue to bless our beautiful country, South Africa, and also protect her outstanding and amazing people. I thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. President. Hi, that's good news for our religious people. We're going to celebrate Passover, and it's going to be beautiful. Thank you so much, Mr. President, for just giving us an allowance of 250 people in the church. Yes, this is the absolute good news. So if you ever wonder if prayer works, it works indeed. So this is me, Carlette. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for just tuning in to our family meeting with Mr. President. So this is Carlette. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't, please do subscribe to Project CB. That would be one great opportunity just to show support. I would love that. And thank you so much for being with us, being part of the family meeting. From my side, may you just enjoy and may you have a blessed Passover, Ramadan, and Easter as well. So may this weekend just be a weekend that you can focus on the most important aspect of being a Christian, and that is Jesus Christ. The pivotal point of our faith is this weekend where Jesus died and he rose again. And now he's seated at the right-hand side of God. And that's our story. That's the story of faith and hope. So may this Easter or a Passover and a little bit later the Ramadan be just an absolute incredible time and journey. So may you just be blessed. Until we meet up again, thank you so much for subscribing. We'll definitely meet up for a family meeting, or maybe just another interesting interview. I know that there's a nice interview coming up from Actionville FM, and that's going to be very soon. That video will be up on Project CB. So please do watch out for that. And if I can draw your attention to our Alpha Trauma Center video as well. They just launched their new premises in Duncanville. Oh, it's a beautiful building, and they are doing exceptionally good job there as well. Counsel the people when they've got trauma, and you know what, just go and give them a visit. Go and visit there on the corner of Van Riebeek and Duncanville on the R59. Don't delay it. If you just want to go and check it out, that's a beautiful place. So from my side, thank you so much for watching. Until we meet up again, thank you so much for subscribing. May the Lord bless you and keep you, and may you just have an absolute incredible Easter or festive season, and definitely Passover. Until we meet up again, blessings.